This video shows you the key elements you need when you do an Excel or Google Sheet graph to show some experimental results. So this data is taken from a barbecue experiment where over time the temperature of the barbecue at a certain point goes up. So in the space of 15 seconds, it's gone up to 247.5 degrees. So first thing you need to do before you start graphing is to make sure the labels for your data is correct and accurate. So currently I have one here, and for some reason, or for the it may be a data recorder issue, or it could be when you data entry there were some issues, but that doesn't actually match up with any data over here. So which means you really should change this to something meaningful. So in our case, that will be temperature. And it's also good that you put the unit in there as well. Okay, so to graph this as a scatter plot, what I need to do is I need to select both of these data columns, and then go to insert, and then from here I will select scatter, which is the one with different points. Okay, so once you selected that, it should show us with something like this. Now there's a lot of things you can change, but first of all, one thing that you should know is to say if I made a data entry error and this one's actually 86, you'll see that the data actually the graph automatically changes for me. Okay, all right, and secondly, what you need to also make sure of is sorry, first, what you need to make sure of is the title here should reflect what your experiment should be about. So what I can say is temperature change over time barbecue experiment. Okay, so that so you should be able to let the user know exactly what the experiment is about, and you can just type that straight in there, and that's not linked to this one here. Right, a few other things you should really include to make sure you have 100% as much clarity as possible is go to chart elements, which is the little cross over here, and you should add axis titles. You should also add trend line. Okay, so now by default the trend line is going to give you a linear graph. Now what we want more is if you double click on this, it gives you more trend line options. So not only you can change a different trend line type, which we're not going to worry about yet, you can also look at extend the graph forward or backward. So for example, if I extend the period 10 forward, it's going to extend this trend line further than what the data have collected. Okay. Now, secondly, you should always if you ever using a trend line, you should always display equation on chart as well as display R-square value. Okay, so that's how you get those two. Now the details about what R-square value and trend line is in a company document, so I'm not going to go through them more detail. Now you should notice that R-square value is 0.9399, and that's actually not a very good correlation. And you can probably tell from this line here that a linear graph isn't really a good representation, because even though at the start, okay, the first half here, even though the first half here looked reasonably linear, the rest of it tapers off. So what you can actually do is if you double click on it, you can try out a few other trendline options. So I know for a fact that this one should go with a polynomial order 2, which means it's quadratic. So if I do that, and you can see straight away that not only gives me a new trendline equation, it also given me a much better high R-square value 0.9, which is a very high level of correlation. Now, determining this trend line, there's a lot of science and a lot of maths behind it, but if you're interested in it, it's called the least squared linear not quite linear regression. Right. Okay, so there's actually a way of trying to minimize the distance between each of the points and your trend line. Okay, so I'm not going to go through more details there. All right, so that's how you'll be able to plot a line and produce all the relevant information. And one thing that I didn't change is the axis title. So you should have the time plus the unit, and also over here, which is this temperature in degrees. Okay, so this should be, now another thing that will be important to do is you should select a useful vertical and horizontal axis unit. So currently the horizontal one is going from 0 to 2 to 4 to 6 to 8. That's not always going to be as accurate as you can. So if you double click on this, it tells you units, major units and minor units. So what I can do, I can reduce that down to 0.5. Okay, so if I reduce that down to 0.5, I go from 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5, but that becomes very cluttered. So in this, and you may, a couple ways to get around that is you make the graph bigger, right? Or you can say, well, given that my time is only once a second, I can accept this option. I can accept major unit being 1, okay, which makes it like this. Now similarly, I can't really tell what that data point is just by looking at the graph. So I should probably try to change the major unit here to probably about 20 to 25. Okay, so that gives me a lot more clarity about the graph itself. So yep. Okay, now what happens if you have, say, in the barbecue experiment, I had 2 stations, now, and then I do a measurement correlating with the time, or the same time. So the sample data sets here, say on the barbecue, I've got station 1 and station 2, which are recording slightly different information. Now, how do I display this information? One way of doing that is you can plot one graph. Okay, I'll do a scatter. Oh. Alright, and now I can select, or I hold down Control key, and I select that again, and I do the same thing. Okay, so I have station 1, station 2 with all the other labels and things that added in. Now this one's not too bad, but it's hard to look at it's hard to do a side-by-side comparison. So what you can actually do is actually plot the graph on top of each other. So the way of doing that is select all the information here. Now this part you need to be very careful because it's very easy to just press click or recommend a chart and be done with it. Now if I do that, okay, this you see that scatter plot is actually not one of the options, and this one is okay, but what happens if you have decimal places in your x-axis, then the whole thing is not going to be too good. So again, we'll go straight to our preferred scatter plot, and I can do this. Alright, so if I do that, okay, I can actually add a different trend line to them separately. Okay, so again, I set that to polynomial second order display information on there. Okay, and I can click on that and then add a trend line to that one as well, polynomial second order display information. Alright, so note that now currently, if you're going to have more than one data column being plotted on the same graph, okay, now I can make a very clear comparison that station 2 is consistently recording higher temperature. I can tell the correlation between the two, but importantly, you need to insert a legend. Okay, so legend is automatically clicking here. If it doesn't, that's how you can make it come up. Now this one tells me what data points are station 1, which ones are station 2, and they also tell me a polynomial trend line and which one's which. Okay, so if you ever have more than one set of information, okay, it will be preferred that you plot them on the same graph, just so it's for easy comparison. But if you have, say, 15, 16 different lines, it's probably not the best idea to plot all of them into one, okay? Because that way you get a lot of clutter. So for example, the original barbecue experiment data looks like this. Now if I grab all of that and I go insert and I go scatter, I'm gonna get that. Now that's going to be very hard to read and understand, and that wouldn't be no good because there are 11 stations. So it might be worthwhile that you consider other ways of data representation, and we can discuss that in due time. Okay, so in summary, we make a graph, select all, then go to insert scatter. Okay, in the graph, you need to make sure you got axis titles, chart title. Legend is not necessary if you only have one single data. Have the trend line. Design the trend line so it's actually closely matching to your data points. Okay, make sure your data axis labels are correct, including unit. If you have more than one data set associated with the same independent variable y-axis, then you can select all that, go to scatter plot, and then you can plot each of them with each individual trend line. And don't forget, in this case, you still need to have the axis titles.